smart viewers, and welcome to your program Inside the Red Chamber with Fred Itwa. For this week, we'll look at just two major issues which I'm sure you're already familiar with, but I'm here to bring you behind the scene of what you may not be privy to and how lawmakers on the floor of the upper legislative chamber are trying, of course, with some hiccups, trying so hard to ensure that these two major issues are tackled once and for all. The first on the table of this very important segment of the program is insecurity, which has become like so endemic. Attempts have been made to resolve the issue, but somehow it's still there. I will talk about the intervention of the Senate and how, for some reasons best known to the executive side, all the resolutions are yet to be implemented by President Muhammadu Buhari. The second aspect is the alteration of the budget cycle, which until recently used to run from January to December. And that was one major achievement which the current Senate President Ahmad Lawan touted for a long time. So these are the two issues I will talk about very shortly. I'll be right back. In 2015, when President Buhari came on board, one of the first things he did, of course, was the appointment of service chiefs. Almost 5 years or more than 5 years after the appointment, Nigerians are calling for a change of leadership for a number of good reasons. First, each of the service chiefs has served in the military for at least 40 years, which is like a misnomer in our system. And that's not all. Despite their continuous stay in office, we've seen the skyrocketing security across every nook and cranny of Nigeria. We've seen Boko Haram getting stronger in the northeast. We've also seen some form of insecurity somewhere in north central and also in northwest. If you come down to down south, the issue of kidnapping, herdsmen and farmers clashes, these issues are there. Even robbery is also on the increase, and people are wondering if these service chiefs are not delivering, why are they still in office? So, as part of their ways of adding to the argument, the Senate twice passed resolutions and urged the president to sack service chiefs, and twice the president has refused to heed to that advice. And in many instances, like the last case, for instance, when the Senate passed another resolution calling on the president to sack service chiefs, an assistant who is not up to the level of a minister in the person of Garuba Shehu was the one releasing a statement telling the Senate that it was not within their purview or their right to tell the president when and who to sack. Now, a few days after, the issue again came to the floor of the Senate, where lawmakers were visibly very angry, and at a point, a lawmaker, Senator Matthew Rogide, called his colleagues to activate Section 143 of the Constitution. Now, he was not explicit whether or not he wanted to go further and talk about the impeachment of the president. Instead, he urged his colleague to collect about 30 signatures and send to the president to let him know that if he does not implement their resolutions, that there will be severe sanctions. Unfortunately, it was just a one-man show, a one-man view. The entire Senate, which is led by Ahmad Lawan, did not subscribe to the argument. As it stands now, nothing has changed. The service chiefs are still in power, and the Senate, despite their series of threats, has done nothing to change the narrative. And we've also seen from the floor of the Senate a concrete effort to call the president to order. Instead, what we've seen on the floor is an appeal from the Senate urging the president, and in another case, urging the service chiefs to take the right step and step aside. But whether that will happen in the coming days is likely or not known for now. But from the body language of everyone involved, it appears it's going to be a very long walk to freedom. We'll be here if something changes to bring you updates. But also know that behind the scene, when you talk to lawmakers in the offices, when the camera is not on, when the tape recorder is turned off, they will tell you the truth about what is happening and what they think about the president. They will tell you that it appears that we are an autopilot where no one is in charge or calling the shots. But once they are on the floor in the full glare of the camera, suddenly they change and they tell you what you want to hear. Even in many instances, no one wants to grant interview or criticize the president, and you wonder why. Are they scared? What could be the reason? It's a question we are hoping that someday soon, those who should know better will provide answers to these select questions that Nigerians, including me, we are asking. I think we deserve something better beyond the usual rhetoric of no comments. I'll be back shortly again. Just before Ahmad Lawan, the president of the Ninth Senate, was elected in June 2019, one of the promises he made was to return the country to a budget cycle of January to December. So part of that deal was that in 2019, a budget was passed, and before 1st of January, it was signed into law by President Buhari. COVID happened, the budget again was sent back to the Senate for some form of adjustment to reflect the current realities in the country. Just during the week, the presidency again sent another request calling on the Senate to extend the lifespan of the current budget to expire at the end of March 2021. That's a 3 months behind the schedule which the president of the Senate had earlier said he was going to ensure that going forward, that will be the new budget cycle. Now the question is, if the budget which is likely to be passed next week, that the 2021 budget is passed, and the 2020 budget is going to run up to 2021 March specifically, does that mean the president of the Senate has broken his promise? Or could it also mean that the president could have insisted that instead of having the other budget run up to March, that we should start running a new budget, then carry over some aspect of that budget into the new one? What could have happened? Or it was just a case of we want to be on the same page with the president, where the Senate, as we've known since 2019, has hardly disagreed on any issue with the presidency. It's an issue we cannot tell. There are also other issues about the funding of the budget and how realistic this has become. We've seen instances where even special items on the budget addressing issues of lawmakers are hardly attended to. For instance, we have the zonal intervention project, which some people will call constitutional project of senators and members of the House of Rep. Now we've seen cases where out of over 100 billion budgeted annually, will represent less than 1% of the entire budget, almost half or if not less, is hardly released by the Ministry of Finance. Every year the senators will back, they will make all the threats, but at the end of the day, nothing happens. We've also seen a case where senators are complaining about delaying the payment of their salaries and allowances. By law, they are supposed to be on first line charge, which means when the budget is passed, everything is paid into the account of the National Assembly. But what we have seen so far is a case where salaries of lawmakers who are like an arm of government are not paid as a when due. Their allowances are not paid. And we also seen even aides of lawmakers threatening to protest or shut down the National Assembly because their allowances as well are not being paid. Now the question you may ask is, if it's true that the allowances are not paid as a when due, and this is an arm of government, what do you expect to see in the coming months? Is he a Senate that will be very bitter and will want to take his pound of flesh from the executive, or to just look the other way, hoping that things will improve and everyone will be fine at the end of the day? There are questions upon questions, and for now, we can't provide answers. But if there are answers, rest assured I'll be here to brief you. Then the last leg of this intervention is the issue of budget padding, which so far we have not seen. But there are questions upon questions. Has it changed, or was it very peculiar when president of the Senate, of the A Senate was in power? That was the person of Bukola Saraki. When almost every budget cycle, there were cases of budget padding, budget padding. Ironically, those who were in the Senate then are the same senators, the same faces, the same system, the same clerks of the various committees are still there. And if in 2015, 2016, 17, 18, up to 2019, there were accusations of budget padding. Is it that we have angels now who suddenly do not tinker with the budget, and whatever the president sent is what is done? There are questions again. Maybe if you have the answers, rest assured I will be here to listen to you and let Nigerians know. I can go on and on, but for the purpose of time, so you won't be bored, I will probably end it here. And before the year runs out, I'll be right back here to brief you on what to expect from senators next year. And if you also have comments or suggestions on what you feel you can do better to bring to Nigerians what the National Assembly, specifically the Senate, must do to change the narrative, please feel free to send us your feedback and rest assured that we'll be here to air them. Until we see you again, Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year ahead.